But yes, please, y'all. I loved it, and we'll start doing it. It helps me pause and just get in. Yes. Okay. So, welcome back, Complex Simplicity. Nasha, I love to hear that. So, remember when I said I wanted to start doing more reflections, and I asked you guys, what, if you could have like a reflection session, would you want to? Y'all said yes. A lot of y'all said Wednesdays were a good day to do that. So I'm gonna start having that sort of thing Wednesdays, and then also as a weekly recap. Okay, so Wednesdays we'll probably go live. Excuse me, I'll probably go live every single Wednesday. Um, and on that Wednesday, we can just have a conversation where we reflect. And it doesn't have to like we can start. I'll work out the format of it, and then we'll address that on Wednesday. But yes, that is something that I'm going to start doing with you guys every week, both in the middle of the week and then also at the end of the week, because it is like to pause, to take things in, to center yourself, to put everything into context. Okay, so while I was shuffling the cards, we got two cards that came out. These are going to be guiding thoughts and the theme of the week. These are things that we are bringing into this new week from last week. Okay. And then I'm going to pull one more card, maybe two more cards for things that are urging, challenges that we might face in the week ahead. And all of these cards, when they're coming out face up. Like, look, this right here. Wow. Again. You know what? It's so funny. You know what? I don't know if she's in here. She'll probably see it later, but I just got a card that I pulled with someone else the other day. Okay. So the guiding things, how the lessons we learned over last week are going to be made use of or enhanced in the week ahead. Okay. And so I got the Four of Water Mint. The Four of Water Mint. And I'm sorry, I'm doing this on both, so I'm going to show it to both cameras. I think this is too bright. It's not letting. There we go. Four of Mint. And the Hija of Air Catnip. Four of Water, Mint, and Hija of Air Catnip. So water and air. Water and air. It's where these messages are coming from. And to ground ourselves in, water energies and that of air as well. Okay. Welcome back, Korea. Okay, the fours are about those borders, those limitations, about structure. So we talked about boundaries, and Nasho, you talked about how, something rubbed you the wrong way. You felt the need to address it, but people got in your ear, they got in your head, and it influenced the way you addressed things. That comes from needing to reaffirm your boundaries, and in reframing your boundaries, knowing how you're going to respond when those boundaries are crossed or encroached upon. I know this is something for me too. Like I said, I experienced something similar. And honestly, this is a very thematic thing because, like I said, as we go through the cycle of death and rebirth and reforming and recalibrating ourselves, our relationships are going to change. And that doesn't mean we have to throw all of our relationships away. That doesn't mean everything needs to start from scratch. But as we are relearning how we need to show up and allowing other people to see how we are showing up now, we need to we got to readjust, we got to reform our boundaries. So this, let's talk about discernment, our intentions, and mutuality. Okay, making sure that our intentions are pure, and our intentions are clear when we're dealing with other people and when we are protecting ourselves and enforcing our boundaries. Hey, Obsidian. Okay. So the Four of Water Mint. Take time to refresh your spirit. That time for pause that we were just talking about, that Nasho just mentions. Prevent plenty from becoming too much. Remember, too much of a good thing is bad for you. Quench your thirst with gratitude. Don't y'all just love when that happens? I love when that happens. I genuinely love when that happens, when we receive confirmation um, on our walks. Like, I just love it. I love it so much. That makes me happy and excited for all of us. Okay. Robust peppermint plants border a garden wall. Freshly picked leaves steep in a pitcher. Steep in a pitcher of cold water near 4 glasses. Three are full, one is empty. Dappled summer light dances over the table. Despite his loud call, a blue Steller's jays sitting on a bird bath goes unnoticed. A discarded kerchief hangs over the only chair. So that's just what this looks like. Hey, Angel. Life sometimes leads to boredom or discontent. That's when you find yourself pushing up against your boundaries from the inside out. Hey, Owl Josem. Um, your lack of interest is keeping you from connection. Create a nourishing space to contemplate your feelings. Really get to the bottom of what it is you're experiencing, so that when you react to it, you are reacting to what is actually playing out, and not just your emotions. I feel like that's one of my angels too. It sure is. All my angels in here this morning. Um, Mint plants are used as border plants because they can be trained to grow as a lively hedge. I don't know about using mint as a border plants, because mint grows prolifically and it will encroach in the beds of other things that are near it. I don't know, because we got some mint in it. We ended up having mint like in and amongst everything and all things. Like, it didn't just stay in its place, but interesting. Um, however, just as mint, listen to what this is about to say. However, just as mint can overtake the garden if it is not contained, your feelings can overwhelm. This is not saying that you need to stifle your feelings, but it means that you need to make sure that you are contextualizing your feelings. Replenish your emotional reserves with uplifting practices. Mint tea is an energizing and refreshing medicine. Notice and appreciate the blessings in your life. Do not take them for granted. Build a foundation for emotional stability with a gratitude practice. So, this weekly, in the middle of the week, and the end of the week thing, we're going to start putting that into practice. That is going to be a ritual. Remember, I talked about daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly rituals. The rituals help you move smoothly. Okay, they create a sense of order and structure to your life. Remember, fours are about order, they're about structure. um Sit quietly and bring your awareness to what you have overlooked. Indulge in a mint foot bath to refresh your spirit. Place mint in a vial and wear it around your neck to help contain overwhelming emotions. Begin a gratitude practice with a pot of warm peppermint tea. Okay? And also helping us to ground ourselves is catnip, the iha of air. Now, catnip, so backtrack. Rewind, pull it up. Mint is very clarifying. Mint cleanses, mint invigorates. Catnip is a very good herb that is used for like astral stuff, for connectivity and communication with celestial bodies. It helps with like your dreaming, it helps with your divination. It just really attunes you spiritually. I love catnip, and it's also a member of the mint family. I mentioned for the blends that I've been making, for anybody who's interested in purchasing one of them. And for the cider blends I made the other day, I can substitute the cannabis for the catnip. Now, cannabis leaves don't get you high. There's very, very little THC in them. You can't grow anything from them. So I'm pretty sure I'll be fine sending blends with cannabis in it. But if you're concerned that you're going, like if you're somebody who gets tested and you don't want there to be any trace of THC or anything in your system, I can substitute the cannabis in the blend for catnip. They have a very similar flavor. Okay, so hija. Hijas, these are playful herbs. These are herbs that are tied to wonder and innocence. So like purity, just like the natural existence of what things are. And so these are things that can be used that are safe for children. So this is like your inner child. Now, because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is all about like death and rebirth as well. But Pluto being an outer lying planet, being a planet that rules more generationally, Pluto is something that's going to bring up wounds. They're going to bring up things to be healed. They're going to bring up emotions that are connected to your inner child, both what your inner child wants and both what your inner child needs to be healed from and of, and given, some extra tender loving care around. Okay. And so in this transit specifically, as we are connecting higher, as we are connecting lower, deeper, and just all around us, and really like recontextualizing who we are, where we are, and how we are, you might want to make use of some catnip as you do that. And catnip is smokable and it is edible. Return to a beginner's mind. First thought, best thought. Make mischief with a sleeping cat. So first thought, best thought, that's trusting your intuition. That's trusting your intuition, not second guessing yourself or your feelings. The sky is clear and blue on a bright spring day. Sage, lemon balm, catnip, and California poppies fill a small garden. A cat slumbers, barely noticeable in the catnip. The soft, pungent herb curves around the cat's head like a wild green mane. A girl plucks a sprig of catnip in her right hand and gleefully reaches toward the sleeping animal. The Iha of air invites everything to be her teacher. Okay, so like a child, you are picking up everything. You're learning from everything. Everything is a lesson. Everything moves you forward. Um, She observes the cat and playfully follows her into the catnip. Like this herb that grows wild through the garden, she lets the world around her inform the direction she takes. She approaches learning with the innocence of a child. She may revisit a well known subject with the curiosity of a beginner. So, as memories resurface, because with retrograde season, that's going to bring up old things that you have been reluctant to resolve, reluctant to address. And so as those things come up, look at them with new eyes. Don't look at them with how they made you feel before. Don't look at them from how you feel in hindsight. Look at them from the seat of where and who you are now, and what aspects of that resurfaced memory or resurfacing feelings, how can you use those to propel yourself forward? How can you use those to more adeptly navigate what you're going through right now? Just as catnip settles emotions with its refreshing medicine, she sets her feelings aside and communicates her observations and questions clearly. Try something new, grow catnip in a window plot or garden, perform a tea ritual with catnip before meditation to return to a beginner's mind, strengthen the psychic bond between you and your familiars. Okay? All right, so those are guiding thoughts and processes for us in the week ahead. So quick recap. We're going to take time to refresh our spirit. We are going to ground ourselves authentically in gratitude. We are going to be careful not to let our emotions run wild and run away with us. And as we are connecting to those emotions, we are going to connect to those emotions at the roots, and we're going to look at those emotions and those feelings, those thoughts with new and fresh eyes from within the context of where we are, not the context of where we were, unless it is a true reflection of why you handled a certain situation in the past the way you did and how you learned from that now that you see and understand it for what it was. Okay, so that's setting the tone for the week ahead. Now, what that looks like, sounds like, feels like. Okay, I'm going to start with Keepers of the Earth. You're not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. I know you guys are taking notes, but feel free to write out anything that's jumping out to you in the comments. Maybe you've written down something that someone else did not, and you might be internalizing it in a way that makes it clearer for them. So feel free to engage in the comment box in between writing your notes. Okay, Keepers of the Earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. You are so supported. You do not stand alone. You have a magnificent team of helpers, both in this world and of the earth, who are here to help you every step of the way. Call upon them for assistance. They are here to help. Now, especially as we are in the Samhain season, up until the 4th of November, that communication with your ancestors is going to be much easier. The lines of communication are wide open. Okay, so you might be feeling new energies come to the forefront and come into the fold. The keepers of the earth acknowledge the work that you have done already and are ready to work through you. They bow at your feet and thank you for wanting to stand for them, to devote your life to protecting the earth in your unique way. It is time, hey Mima's Worlds, it is time to increase your capacity to receive support in the physical realm. This can come in the form of financial abundance, acts of service from strangers, or people flocking to help you in your work. So be open to connecting with people because you don't know why they've entered your life, okay? Now, a lot of people, a lot of us, like, we just have just who we are. We just have so much to share. We really just be wanting to help people. We really just be wanting to genuinely connect with people. We really just be wanting to see eye to eye, heart to heart, soul to soul. So allow people to also do that with and for you. The only thing that is stopping you right now is your capacity to receive support. You deserve to be rewarded for the work that you are doing. You do not need to go it alone. Call upon the keepers of earth to help you and your mission. Open your heart and mind to receiving more than you ever thought possible. What kind of support do you need? Figure that out and call it in right away. Now, a lot of us, when we are closed off from other people, that is a reaction, that is a trauma response. Being unable to connect genuinely and wholeheartedly with the people around us, and whatever form that connection is going to look like, whether it's going to be a positive connection or a negative connection, whether it's going to be a tumultuous connection, at the end of the day, being able to connect to other people authentically is a skill. It's a necessity, and the hindrance of that usually is a response to trauma. Now, if you feel yourself pushing up against being able to trust people, being able to let people in, that's probably something that you're going to need to focus on and work through and reground yourself in this Scorpio season. And that's why it's coming up now as we are approaching the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. Okay. So there is an activation for this, and this would make a very, very good new moon petition. a very good new moon petition, okay? I am open to receiving a whole new level of support for my life and my work, and I call it in now in the realms of, and then you fill in the blank of the areas in your life that you want to do those things. So coming off of the 4 of water and the Iha of air, we could say, I'm open to receiving a whole new level of support for my life and my work, and I call it in now in the form of authentic gratitude and connectivity with myself, the divine, and the evidence of the divine in the people around me. I call this in the form of clear and fiercely protected boundaries that allow me to show up authentically with myself and with others. Okay, those type of things. And I'm going to put this in here as a bookmark because I'm going to take a picture of this, and I'm also going to post it for you guys so that everybody has it. Okay, so also what that looks like is Ace of Air. Ace of Air. Ace of Air. Let's see, complex. Back against the wall, part of my dreams. I use that position to climb out of a trap into a beautiful place. Yes, that's so like what's the word I'm looking for? Vivid. Like I can see that in my mind. And I'm glad you said that because now is a good time to do the legs up the wall pose. I'll share something about that also. Petitioning my ancestors to allow me to be gifted the things that was once owed to them that they could not claim in their time here. Ashe. Finances, opportunity, property. I'm gonna take a screenshot because that was such a good example of what we just talked about. Like you fucking did that. You did that, boo. That was a perfect example. That was a perfect example. Thank you so much for sharing that. Complex simplicity. Okay, so the Ace of Earth. Remember, these are beginnings, and because it's the Earth, this is the beginning of things coming to fruition, right? So as above, so below. I did took a screenshot of that because that was really good. And a lot of that trauma that I was talking about of being able to trust people and stuff like that, a lot of that is generational. Our ancestors couldn't be, and for a lot of them, they couldn't be who they were authentically because it was dangerous. They had to survive. They were focused on survival. Now we're in a place where we can focus on allowing our lines to thrive, but they had to first survive. So that's real. Okay, the Ace of Earth. Prosperity in its purest form, concrete results in the physical world, abundance made manifest. All this shit that complex simplicity just said, just mentioned, just spoke about, that's this, okay? That is prosperity in all its forms, in its core. I recognize the many forms of abundance and plenty, and I align myself with success. I can generate gold from the resources I have at my fingertips. Everything I touch turns to gold. 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 I make an impact. The essence of prosperity is taking form in the material world. Everything I touch turns to gold. And also this kept falling out of my book. It popped out for me and I read it and I was using it as like a bookmark to go back to that, but this popped out, and it popped out like mad times. I don't know if y'all saw me keep putting it back, but I'm gonna read it because it clearly came for a reason. So this is the Madre of Earth, the creosote bush, and this is the Ace of Earth. Okay, so how can you mother yourself? How can you govern yourself? How can you nurture yourself in a way that makes room for that abundance, for that genuine abundance to be manifest in your life? Creosote bush. Like I said, the Madre cards are about love, nourishment, and guidance. The gentle, approachable, and safety, community healing. You know, it takes a village, and it be the mothers in the village. So these are also like these are the queens. They are intuitive. They are imaginative. They are gentle. They are wise. They are fierce. They align things behind the scenes so that they can then be acted upon and fulfilled. Okay, so like I just said, so be a guardian of the wild spaces, build circles of women, and share the medicine. So share your things, share what you're learning, share your essence, share you. A woman travels deep into a canyon surrounded by the scrub plants of the Sonoran Desert. A large dancing rock towers before her, a flat mesa sturdy behind it. Before collecting medicine, she makes an offering to the land. She raises a clay bowl full of creosote flowers to the sun and sings a song of gratitude. Ah, yes. Yes, 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 yes. The Madre of Earth provides for herself and her community. Like the creosote bush, she creates many remedies. She honors the land and she gathers medicine. So, honoring the land is also like honoring your roots, where you're coming from, where you are rooted, what you are grounded in. Remember how we were talking about recontextualizing? That's this, okay? That's the land. She is in good health and inspires others to the same with her grounded daily rituals. She knows creosote bush thrives in depleted soil where other plants cannot. She too is considered a survivor because of her ability to grow strong. As a true guardian of the place, she learns from creosote, the mother of all plants, how to enhance the lives of generations beyond her lifetime. Okay? She steadily supports her people as well as the animals and plants of the region. Embrace your quiet nature. It is the foundation of grace. So reflection, through acceptance of self, that is the foundation of grace. Empower future generations, lead a medicine walk in your community, make an offering to the lands around you, and share your gifts with everyone. Share your gifts. That's beautiful. Okay. I'm gonna write up some notes on that one because that gotta go into a post or something. Um okay, so I am going to again close this and come right back. That was the type of reading that Balm and Borage will get. Now I'm going to do another one, which usually is a more in-depth view of what we just talked about, for what it would look like if you were at the turmeric and motherwort um, tears in Patreon. Hey Shanisha, that's my cousin. Hey boo, everybody say hi. So come right back. I'm gonna close this, I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna come right back with the more in-depth version of this weekly forecast. So Shanisha, honestly, if you got time to stick around, you are right on time because we're gonna do an in-depth look at the week ahead. Okay, so come right back.